Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Next week on Tuesday, it will be Wednesday for me, but Tuesday for you guys over in the States. We have a major election going on, not just for the American people, but for the entire world. It's really, if Kamala Harris gets in, the world's screwed. We're done for. And it's not just me that's saying that, by the way. If Trump gets in, and I hope to God that he actually gets in, I hope the people actually care more about things that really matter than, say, the likes of Kamala Harris that calls Trump a fascist and calls Trump all these other names that don't really have any connotation or meaning to it, because there is none whatsoever. You can't compare Donald Trump and anything he has said or done to the likes of an actual fascist. And keep in mind, people, that Kamala Harris was pretty much raised as a Marxist. Her father is a Marxist teacher, for goodness sake. So, yes, her father would have taught her everything she needs to know about Karl Marx and Marxism. And doesn't Marxism have close allies with fascism? Oh, geez. Wasn't it a certain somebody that took Marxism teachings and principles and formulated the far right extremist group known as the Nazi Party? Oh, um, gee, I didn't know that one, Jay. That's news to me. Well, it should be like uh actual general knowledge for everybody, but a lot of people don't actually know that, because Kamala Harris wants everyone to know that Donald Trump is apparently Hitler and a fascist, and she's actually not, with all the things that she said and her hateful rhetoric and her incitement of violence. But you know what? She can't handle name calling at her, because she's two things. One, she's a downright liar. Number two, she's a very good victim. She loves to play the victim card, and I cannot stand it. I really can't. If it's two things that I cannot stand, it is victims and whiners. The ones that claim to be the oppressed person, but yet they also, another thing I don't like, should have said three things, but anyway, it's a liar as well. And someone that not only claims to be a victim, they lie about certain things, and then they claim to be woe is me. They contradict themselves. They are literally the epitome of someone that you don't want anything to do with. But hey, how is she running? She got the IQ of not even above 50. But anyway, she also went into a bar recently with some woman who's absolutely absurd. I can't remember her name for the life of me, because that's how much I care about her. But she went into a bar and she's acting like she's a regular human being by drinking beer, trying to appeal to men. But keep in mind, she hasn't even got men on her website, and she's not even trying to appeal to men because she hates men. Now, today, we're going to be talking about her man, Doug Emhoff, who Jen Psaki basically epitomized as being the definition of masculinity not that long ago. Apparently, Doug Emhoff is every man's dream to look up to. Like, we should be looking at Doug Emhoff, and he is the pinnacle of masculinity. But yeah, guess what? His ex-girlfriend is coming out saying that Doug Emhoff slapped me in the face so hard I spun around. I'm disgusted by his fake perfect spouse persona. Everything that Kamala Harris and Doug do is fake, man. Like, you don't have to look too hard or too far to actually see that that is the case. Now, this is a fairly long article. We won't get into every single detail. I would love to do that, but unfortunately, we just don't have the time to do it. But anyway, here we go. Doug Emhoff's ex-girlfriend has spoken exclusively to dailymail.com, claiming that he slapped her in the face so hard she spun around at a 2012 celebrity event in France. So it turns out that Kamala Harris's own husband now happens to be a woman abuser. Yeah, Jen Psaki, do you take back your comment now? Now, I know that a lot of people are going to go, oh, but Jay, you're talking about don't believe all women, so to speak. And I'm going, okay, fair enough. I'm going to look at this from an objective point of view. But if it's anything that I have seen in regards to Kamala Harris's track record and then Doug Emhoff as well, you can kind of piece things together. And while of these are alleged claims, we don't really know what took place. If the woman is coming out right now, there's obviously a good reason for it. I no idea whether or not her political alignings are going in the Trump direction, but it doesn't look good for Kamala Harris or Trump. But you know what? The mainstream media buried this story very quickly because it doesn't look good on the first man, supposedly. The epitome of masculinity, Doug Emhoff, hit a woman so hard that she spun around at a 2012 celebrity event in France. Now, I would love to have seen if there's any video evidence of this, but anyway, the woman, a successful New York attorney. Oh, so that's how you know, like, she's an attorney. So she knows the law. She knows all this sort of stuff. Well done, Doug. You dated the right person. Is remaining anonymous, but decided to speak out after Emhoff, Kamala Harris's husband, denied the claims through a spokesman. Sure, the definition of masculinity, coming out to the forefront to deny your own claims through a spokesman. Emhoff's accuser, who DailyMail.com is naming only as Jane, initially declined to comment on the record, but Emhoff's denial and his alleged hypocrisy by claiming to be a feminist in the media interviews finally became too much for her. So it seems like she is actually a feminist and she can't stand the man lying and acting a certain way and showing the world or lying to the entire world. And so she's coming on the record and saying, I've had enough of this dingbat. What's frightening for a woman that's been on the other end of it is watching this completely fabricated persona being portrayed, Jane said. He's being held out to be the antithesis of who he actually is. And he is utterly shocking. So the man contradicts himself quite a bit. He's a walking, talking contradiction. And don't you just love those sort of people, right? DailyMail.com broke the story about the alleged unprovoked attack on October 2nd by reporting accounts from two friends she told immediately after the incident, a third she told in 2018. The documents evidencing her relationship and trip to France with Emhoff. So there are actual claims and evidence to support the fact that these two were actually in the place that she claims Doug hit her. So she's a lawyer, man. You got to be very careful because lawyers know what's up. They know certain things and know how to argue. And it doesn't look like you're on a perfectly good track record at the moment, mate. Bombshell allegations, which followed DailyMail.com's revelation in August that Emhoff cheated on his first wife with his daughter's nanny. Yeah, well, we all know that, right? Najine Naylor received little or no coverage from politically center-left major news outlets. Gee, I wonder why that is. Could it be that the mainstream media doesn't want to paint Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, as being a cheater and then a wife abuser or a girlfriend abuser or whatever else? Could it be that case? Oh, seems like Doug Emhoff knows how to pick him. The nanny, a lawyer, and now a presidential candidate. Great job, Doug. Maybe you are the pinnacle of masculinity after all. Oh, or maybe you're just a spineless weasel. Emhoff admitted the affair in a statement in August, but his spokesman gave only a short denial of the alleged violence to a politics news site a day after we exclusively reported the slap allegations. Yes, can't be seen to be abusing women. That's wrong. But I can cheat on a woman and we can bury that information, but we can't so much really bury the slap allegations or we can't prove that. Oh, I'll admit the cheating. Fine. That's okay. A lot of people do that. But the slap, no. In a statement to Semaphore, published October 3rd, a spokesperson said this report is untrue and that any suggestion that he would or has ever hit a woman is false. Gee, I love those statements. This report is untrue because I said so. It's categorically false that I hit a woman in the face. Emhoff, the Harris campaign, and the White House have failed to respond to DailyMail.com and other outlets' repeated requests for comment. You wonder why that is. These are bombshell allegations, Doug. Dougie, did you hit a woman? Oh, I can't say, love. I'm the epitome of masculinity, according to Jen Psaki, so I don't think I did. These are untrue claims. I've got to be a male feminist. And is it anything that we love about male feminists, ladies and gentlemen? They are walking, talking contradictions. They are soy boys. They are weak minded. But hey, they also love to abuse women because they don't actually know what it means to be a real man. They don't know what masculinity really is. Every time I see Doug on TV portraying, but the second gentleman has since continued to brag about his long held feminist values in a softball media interview arranged by the Harris presidential campaign. Yes, who is Doug Emhoff? The epitome of masculinity. I am a male feminist man. I have feminist values. I love women, so much so that I will punch one in the face and then deny it later on. Every time I see Doug on TV portraying the persona of a perfect spouse and non-toxic man, I wonder if Najeen is watching too and feeling as disgusted as I am. Jane said, "Oh, she sounds good. She sounds really good." I would, if Jane were to come out and not be anonymous, I think the internet would go nuts. I really do. Last week, Jane recounted her story to dailymail.com, including that Emhoff slapped me so hard I spun around and that Emhoff told her he was accused by his mistress of causing her to miscarry their baby. Again, the epitome of masculinity, people, right in front of you. Emhoff and Jane got together in 2012 before he met Harris, who he married in 2014. Yes, after the slap, he went to Kamala Harris, who slept her way to the top. Guy knows how to pick him. I was living in New York and Doug was living in Los Angeles, Jane said. I met him on Match.com. As all great relationships start, right? Probably where Dougie met Harris, on a dating website. I'm sure that he didn't put in his dating profile, "Hey, I slapped a lawyer and that's going to bite you in the butt later on down the track. But hey, don't worry, we've got the mainstream media covered. We can take care of them, especially if you are on the Democratic side." And is it any wonder, like, you're seeing a lot of celebrities come out now and support Harris? Like, it's not because they're actually smart, it's because they're really dumb. But also, you wonder, what have they got on them? After work one night, I met him for drinks at a hotel near Times Square. She said Emhoff's odd behavior began immediately when he invited his son Cole to join them about an hour into their first date in March 2012. Yeah, that's very odd behavior. It was an odd request for a first date, but I also felt bad that his son was walking around the city waiting for his dad to finish his Match.com date. So I agreed. In retrospect, it should have been a big red flag. Oh, yeah. The adult son can't take care of himself. All right. Jane said their relationship consisted of an intense few months, with Emhoff discussing marriage and children just after a few weeks. Jeez, that's a bit nuts. It's crazy. Slow it down a little bit there, Doug. Maybe you are the epitome of masculinity after all. Going all in. No, wait, sorry. That's feminists. That's male feminists. He flew me to Los Angeles in April. I stayed in his home for a week. The entire time he was alluding to marriage and having children with me, she told dailymail.com. He was totally love bombing me. He grabbed me around the stomach and talked about wanting more babies. But the man is a little bit nuts. But we already knew that. Jane said that less than a month into a relationship, she got a lucrative job opportunity in the UK and off she went. And Doug gave her the impression he was willing to leave his family behind. He was really pushing me to pursue it, and he seemed like he was willing to come with me to London. She said he was ready to uproot, even though he had a family and he had a child still in junior high school. Emhoff's first wife and mother of his two kids, Kirsten, had filed to end their marriage 3 years earlier in June 2009 after splitting with him the month before, according to LA court documents. But Jane said she got the impression Emhoff still felt a debt to his ex and decided to ask him about it during her LA trip in April 2012. We were in Santa Monica. He was driving his fancy car, and we just straight out asked him, "I feel like you're on the back foot in the divorce, like you're trying to make up for something." She said, "All I did was ask him one question, and he told me the whole story without skipping a beat. And staring straight ahead at the road, he tells me he had an affair with his daughter's teacher and that subsequently she claimed that she was pregnant. He's telling me this very casually, like it's no big deal." He yelled at her. He never said he hit her, but he said he got really angry with her, and she subsequently claimed that whatever he did caused her to lose the pregnancy. He said that he said she got a lawyer and was threatening litigation. I was flabbergasted. Haven't heard that word in a while. And I was taken aback by how matter of fact he could talk about it. He tried to minimize it. He said there was no proof that the woman had become pregnant. He tried to make it seem like she was scamming him. To be honest, I wanted to believe him at the time because all appearances, this was turning into a serious relationship. I had just met both his children, his parents, and many people he worked with at Venable. But I did harbor reservations after seeing this, as you more than likely would. So it goes on from there, and eventually she decides to end the relationship. We'll go skip to the end after. If you want to read the entire story, just go on dailymail.com or just type in Doug Emhoff abuse claims, and then this will come up. Jane dismissed any claims that an allegation against Emhoff were politically motivated. Well, there you go. Adding that she and her husband have been registered Democrats, voted for Joe Biden in the Democratic presidential primary in 2020 election, and donated over $10,000 to Biden campaigns. Well, Biden's no longer there, and now you've got Harris, and it sounds like she's got a grudge against Doug, and good thing she's got a grudge against Doug. So I said in the beginning that we don't really necessarily know her political motivations, and I don't think this is politically motivated at all. I think she just got a bee in a bonnet towards Doug, and seems like Doug is causing Kamala Harris a little bit of grief at the moment, but nevertheless, the mainstream media is carrying it up and burying it, as they normally do with these sorts of stories, to make Kamala Harris seem like she's a good person. Same with her people that are in a close proximity. That's exactly what they do. And it is absurd and crazy that this is actually taking place. But nevertheless, we're here, ladies and gentlemen, aren't we? So vote accordingly. Don't vote for somebody that is a walking, talking contradiction, or a liar, or somebody that actually married someone that is quite a, well, they're both devilish people. But anyway, you guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.